Hello there, everybody! Welcome back to Pokemon White! Alright, now that we've gone through the Celestial Tower, we can now enter the Mistralton Gym, so that we can, of course, defeat Skyla, and, of course, earn ourselves some Gym Badge number 6. Alright, let's freaking do it. And we have this guy, which of course, once again, who just wants to give us some fresh water again. Yeah, it's always freaking fresh water with this guy. And once again he says, yeah, just between you and me. Rock, electric, ice. Flying types have more weaknesses than people know about. Yeah. If you use Pokemon and moves of those types, victory is practically yours. Yeah, practically. By the way, to proceed in this gym, you climb in the cannons to move forward. Yeah, we actually have to utilize cannons. Yeah. The cannons go up, down, left, and right. You can get in them from anywhere. Yeah, so essentially, depending on the direction where you actually enter the cannon, then the cannons will move. See? Yeah, the cannons will change just before you actually enter them. So, but however, you can probably tell on the bottom, on the bottom platforms, those little platforms beside, like on the sides of the cannons, those are actually there, just to let you know which sides of the cannons that you can actually hop inside them from. So those are the things that you really have to watch out for. That is actually that you have to keep in mind for. In terms of these cannons. And also, some of these and also everyone what these cannons are used for? Well, Skyla actually uses these cannons so that she can actually use a little glider, so that she can actually take a flight herself. Yeah, and that is essentially the famous quote that Skyla usually says. Yeah, again, she says that for her take flight. Yeah, that is essentially one of Skyla's famous quotes that she usually says. But anyways, now and also with these cannons, I don't know. Now every time you get fired out of a cannon, you basically just land on your feet. Even though not sure how that's even possible, considering not physically, considering cannons do have a lot of firepower in them. And if you blast away for a very far distance, you can practically hurt yourself with it. And yet, with these cannons, you basically just land on your feet, with no problems whatsoever. Yeah, I just find that a bit odd to me. Yeah, but whatever. But as everyone, as you can probably tell, as you can probably know already, since the Mistralton Gym is a flying type gym, that means that my Pignite and Semi-Sage aren't exactly going to be that much helpful in this gym. And the one that's really going to be doing the majority of the fighting is going to be my Striker. Although that is until the Pokemon that I'm also going to use for this gym. That being Sigilyph and a Crocoroid. For the most part, it's I'll say this right now. For the majority of this gym, I'm actually gonna be utilizing my Zepstrika, my Crocoroid, and my Sigilyph. Now, and also sometimes Albertone as well. But it's actually really just gonna be those three, why not? Oh yeah, and as you also see, yeah, as you just saw, yeah, now some of these trainers in this gym are legit pilots. Yeah, yeah, this is actually a first within the Pokemon series, where you actually get to battle where you actually get to battle actual pilots. Yeah. Yeah, and as you can probably tell, if there are pilots, yeah, that means is that there obviously are gonna have flying types with them. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. Now, and I guess I should also say about the Mistralton Gym. Well, as I stated previously, now, when Skyla debuted within the anime, now she definitely had a thought process about, yeah, she was definitely thinking about utilizing her air battles, but then it took not only a gym battle between a battle between Silent, and also a battle with Ash for her to finally change her ways. Yeah. Yeah, but before she had a change, yeah, let's just say she was very, let's just say like, I don't know how to describe it, actually. Yeah, she was very... I don't know how to describe it. It was... Yeah, I honestly just don't know how to describe it. Yeah, but anyways... Oh yeah, you're just gonna say target locked acquired. I will shoot you down with my flight technique! I bet you will, bitch. I bet you will. Alright, let's just fight. Pilot chase. Oh, here we go. Now here's where we get the introduction of the evolution of Tranquil. Unfezant. Now with Unfezant, Unfezant actually comes in two different forms. Depending on two very specific forms, and they are confirmed by its gender. Now, what you see right now is the male, like is the male a very variation of Unfezant. Yeah, the major difference with Unfezant is essentially the thing the very thing that is actually on Unfezant's is the thing that is on Unfezant's head. Yeah, that's how you can easily tell which gender is which. And it is actually the only few times within this whole series where you can definitely tell which one's male and which one's female. Although sometimes they're a little bit more, some of them are more obscure. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Torchic. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at you, Torchic. Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to tell when Torchic's male or female. Oh wait, or was it Combuskin? Honestly, I forget. But anyways, now maybe as we go for this gym, we may also see what the female variation of Unfezant of the female variations of Unfezant looks like. Oh yeah, and speaking of Unfezant, now for those of you who recall, when I told you about that actually when I first started when I played for this game the first time, that I actually had an Unfezant. Yeah, the one that I always get is the ones that I always get are males. So yeah, I would always I would always have the male variation of Unfezant. Yeah, just like the one that you saw already. Okay, and you're done. And now, I think, yeah, and I believe that is the last trainer that we're gonna fight before we take on Skyla. And now, do you know, as I recall, now, as I just said, yeah, being shot out of cannons can be quite dangerous, which makes me sometimes question, how do those who work in a circus really appreciate being shot out of cannons? Yeah, but anyways, now we get this cannon. Yeah, now with these few cannons, you actually jump through. Yeah, you actually fire through several hoops. But then, go for this one, and bam! Yeah, you literally get shot right towards the goddamn wall. And yet, your face is nothing like, and you are supposed to feel fine from that? Wow, Skyla, you may want to change the firepower for that cannon. Yeah, I'm just saying. Oh, she just says, did we enjoy flying with the hell with the cannons? That second to last one, not so much. Because we literally just freaking faceplanted right towards the wall. I would like to speak to your manager about that. But anyways, why don't we take out our anger out on our gym battle against the gym leader Skyla. Alright, now first off is her Swoobat. Now Swoobat has the ability unaware, and it has moves Heart Stamp, Amnesia, Acrobatics, and Insurance. So yeah, Swoobat can definitely take fully good use out of its with its special defense, and also fire off huge power when it comes to that Heart Stamp. But as you saw with that crunch, yeah, we definitely knocked it out pretty easily. And now we are already getting to her strongest Pokemon already. That being the evolution of Ducklet, Swanna. Yeah, a duck actually evolved into a swan. Oh, and we took it out very easily with that crit. But anyways, now with that Swanna, it had a special ability, Keen Eye, and it had the moves Aqua Rain, Aerial Ace, Air Slash, and Bubble Beam. And now for her third Pokemon, yeah, now this right here is what the female version of Unfezant look like. Yeah. But anyways, now for her Unfezant, it has a special ability, Big Pecs. It has moves Cruel Wig Attack, Air Slash, Layer, and Razor Wind. And as you saw, yeah, Unfezant is really pretty easy to defeat. Especially if it goes for like Leer, or as you just saw with that freaking Razor for the Razor Wind. But yeah, that was definitely the easiest gym battle we've faced so far. Yeah, I would say that is definitely the easiest gym battle that we've had all game, actually. Although actually, I think it's actually next to I would say much more easier than Berg, because at the very least with his Dwebble, he definitely gave us some trouble because since that Dwebble had at least that sturdy. And also from his Whirlipede too. But anyways, yeah, now we got the Jet Badge from Skyla. And of course, yeah, now with this many gym badges, now Pokemon up to level 70 will now obey us. And now we're also, as thanks for a Pokemon battle that made me very happy, I want to have his TM. And that is the TM that I already have my Semi-Sage. Yeah, if I didn't teach my Pansage Acrobatics before actually evolving him, then I would have had to wait until this point for me to actually teach it that move. Yeah, I would have to wait for even much more longer for that. Be sure to compensate for the lack of a held item. By the way, when I flew over Twist Mountain on the way to Icera City, yeah, Team Plasma is that the name? Anyway, they were headed. They're headed for this. They were headed for the city. What kind of people are they? Well, if you actually met them in person, yeah, you'll definitely know what kind of people Team Plasma are. But anyways, now watch this. With this last cannon, and again, we just land on our feet, no problem. Jeez. But immediately since we step out, here is and again. They may say it is for understanding one another better, but what trainers really use battles for is to compete. And they hurt each other's stories Pokemon. Am I the only one who finds this terribly painful? Whatever. I'm going to talk to your Pokemon. I've been living with Pokemon since I was born. So it's easier for me to talk with them than with people, because Pokemon never tell lies. I don't think that's the case. And I mean, have you seen several Pokemon? Like, I don't know, like an evil Togepi who deceived freaking Team Rocket? Or even a dark and psychic type Pokemon that we meet in the future, who literally was set on destroying the world. So yeah, not all Pokemon are as trusting as you would think they are. If every person in Pokemon cared about one another like you two do, I could watch over the future of people in Pokemon without having to liberate Pokemon from people who just use them. Gensis is using Team Plasma to search for some special stones, the Light Stone and the Dark Stone. These stones hold the essence of two legendary Pokemon. It is said that when they lost their physical form, they fell into a slumber and were transformed. Now they wait for the hero's arrival. I shall resurrect a legendary dragon type Pokemon from one of these stones and become its friend. And then what? That will show the world that I am the new hero. Everyone will follow what I say. Maybe, I don't know. My vision is to change the world without using force. Trying to change the world by force will just make others resist. If people resist, the ones that will be hurt are the innocent Pokemon used by foolish trainers. You understand, do we? People are not just tools for people to use. So now, as a result, Pokemon and trainers who care about one another, like you and your Pokemon, will be separated. Yeah, he says that he was not using force, and that does break my heart a little. Oh, I bet it does. Now, he says that he's not going to use force just so that he can get his way. Yeah, after he becomes the new hero. But Team Plasma's already doing that by essentially stealing their Pokemon. By essentially stealing their Pokemon. And also, even if he does resurrect, and even if he even if he does resurrect, and even when he does resurrect, you know, the legendary dragon, that's gonna make people fear it. You know, considering that they may not have heard that particular legendary whatsoever. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, that's enough lore for now. Cause yeah, we obviously aren't gonna get into more of that as we get into more of it into the game. Okay, everyone. Now that we have gotten the 6th badge, now we can talk to this guy who he says that now he wants to tell us something cool. We left our treasure. We left our treasure at the edge of the runway. All right. And what sort of treasure would that be? Well, it's actually right here. And it is the TM for Aerial, and it's actually the TM for Aerial Ace. Oh, you found our treasure. Yeah, very easily. Found it. Yeah, we found it indeed. Just kidding. Why are we kidding? We don't have a Pokemon, so we planned to hide this TM until we got one. I see, but that would be a waste. So here, you can use it. We'll get another one from Skyla. You can use it. I don't know why you're shouting that. But it also, Skyla does not give you aerial ace. She gives you acrobatics. So I'm pretty sure that was a lie. Or was that the only time that Skyla would give somebody that aerial ace TM? Honestly, I'm not too sure on that. Yeah, but anyways. Oh yeah, everyone, as you just saw, yeah, we can't exactly ride our bikes. Yeah, we can't exactly ride our bikes on top of these walkways. And we also still can't ride our bikes through the very, very, very tall grass zebra. But as with that said, that's what I'm gonna do for this part. And so to the next part, I'll see you guys next time.